Coming up on Bloom, meet a fitness guru helping women become the best version of themselves.
Making something a challenge or something that presents you with some fear or vulnerability and turning that into a possibility or a chance for change.
And find out about one woman's powerful journey ditching her breast implant.
When it came time to make the decision to take them out, I was very concerned, how is it going to affect my image?
Plus, we're whipping up 3-ingredient macro-friendly pancakes. We'll have all that and more as Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, starts now. I'm Gail Guayardo. Welcome to Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. Today, we're helping you live your best life. And our next guest is so passionate about this that she launched a lifestyle platform focusing on teaching, supporting, and empowering women to take control of their well-being and lead fulfilling lives. Jacqueline Cordero has taken her experience as a nurse and combined it with her incredible knowledge as a fitness expert to create JackFit. From this moment on, her hope is no one has to force themselves to exercise because this new fitness world is designed to help you enjoy your healthy life journey. Joining me now is fitness expert and transformation specialist Jack Cordero, who's helping women become the best versions of themselves. Jack, it is so great to have you on Bloom.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here, honestly.
Oh, I love your mission statement about making working out and being healthy and fit more of a lifestyle and a great choice than a chore.
Absolutely, absolutely. The whole premise behind JackFit, and this kind of started when we all were experienced to COVID, is that making something a challenge or something that presents you with some fear or vulnerability and turning that into a possibility or a chance for change. And the concepts of consistency, discipline, and hard work, the main ingredients to success in this program, are really embedded in my clients' brains every single day, which is where the birth of the 5 a.m. club kind of concept came into play.
And I love the fact that you use the word vulnerability because I can remember, and I've always been into fitness, but early on, there is a vulnerable side to stepping into this space. Now, once you can convince people to come into it, it's life-changing.
Absolutely. And it's really about just wanting to kind of dig deep and find your true self that a lot of us have lost a long time ago, whether it be from childhood trauma or just maybe a comment a classmate may have said to you at one point and just kind of resonated with you and stuck with you, and then you turn that into a self-belief. So I really try to dig deep into the minds of our clients and just try to pull the best parts of themselves out. Slowly but surely, they get there. But it's a series of consistent concepts, really.
And I think as women, so many times we look at fitness and we attach it to the way we look in our body image. But what I've learned is that the mental boost, the confidence boost, that in itself is a game changer.
Absolutely. For anything to be long-lasting, longevity, or just sustainability, you have to learn to tackle the mindset first. Once you get the mindset in, the rest follows. The physical will always follow the mental. So it's really about establishing those concepts mentally first.
Now, as you work with clients and all of the folks that follow you, talk me through how you bridge the divide between looking at working out as something that is just a chore that you want to put off to this immersive experience that you've created.
Right, so it's a progressive process, right? It doesn't happen overnight. Results don't happen overnight, and if they do, they're going to be short term. So understanding what's needed inside of yourself to be able to be long-standing. So self-talk, so positive self-talk. Maybe start your morning with gratitude, expression of affirmations, and then when you slowly work on yourself to that more loving, more self-loving kind of self, you then begin to believe it. So it is a process of repetitive behavior, then belief, and then action comes into play. And that's where you go, okay, you know what, 5 a.m., yes, of course it's early, but you know what, it's a chance to be mom, not mom, sorry, it's a chance to be you, not mom, not what you do for a profession, not friend, it's just you time. And it's really important to connect yourself first thing in the morning so that you can be better for everyone else. And you really do become better for everyone else once you do that work inside.
I want to talk a little bit, I probably buried the lead a bit on this, but I think it's so cool that you started off your career as an RN, and you worked with people that were really sick, and just seeing how we deteriorate it must have really helped you come to this space to help in a more preventative way.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that everything we do throughout our life brings us to the best part of who you are today. So, you know, whether it was myself working in the ER, seeing life kind of happen right before me or lose it before me, working with terminally ill cancer patients, those life experiences really taught me that life is so super valuable and so precious and not to be taken for granted. And that's part of the whole process of waking up an expression of gratitude. You're giving back to yourself. But that health and that clinical experience that I've been able to acquire over time as being an RN really allowed me to kind of step into the passion that I have for fitness and health and really combine something really, really magical, right? A holistic approach, not just how to get my clients to get a six-pack or get in that bikini shape. It's really about embodying their whole self, mind, body, and soul.
And I think what's also great about your program is that you don't have to be a fitness expert or somebody that's really seasoned. And this can start at any age. I mean, I've been, like I said earlier, I've been working out my whole life, but in my 50s, now I'm 57, I really got into resistance training. And you can't believe the transformation. It doesn't matter your age. No. You can still do this.
Absolutely. I have clients that are, you know, just fresh out of college. I have professional athletes. I have people that have been in, you know, in a space of Olympic, a really high level training. It doesn't matter how old you are, wherever you come from. It really just boils down to two things. It's like, are you happy? Is what you're doing today feeding your soul? If it's not, then figure out what that means and go with it and just have tunnel vision and go with it strong and hard.
Yeah, because if you tie those emotions of how are you feeling, what's your emotional state, once you start to tie that to health, wellness, and fitness, then it all starts to make sense to people. Because if not, again, I know I sound like a broken record, it just seems like something you have to check off.
Absolutely.
And you don't want that to be the psychology behind this.
Not at all. You don't have to have the most intense cardio first thing in the morning, and I always encourage my clients, get out and put a physical self-deposit in your self-care bucket. Whether it's walking your dog, yoga, meditation, start your day off with something that you're investing into yourself first, and then everything else will follow suit. So it's really about, you know, recycling, you know, the day before, unpacking what you have, you know, what's pressing on your mind, clearing out the thoughts so that you're really focused on what you want your day to look like. So you're really setting the tone. You know, and that's why it's super important that, you know, not just women, men alike, everyone, to put the time into yourself. And this world is so busy that we're so distracted. There's so much, you know, noise around us that we really lose focus on the things that are important, right? Health first.
Absolutely.
Health first, physical follows after. If you don't have your health, that physical gain, those goals that you've, you know, been able to acquire with, you know, vigorous training or strength training, whatever it is, that won't last.
Yeah.
It won't last.
Your health is everything.
Absolutely.
Jack, thank you so much for this. And we're going to share this story. And you can actually read digital reporter and producer Brody Waddell's full article on BloomTampaBay.com. And we are thrilled. Jack joined us on our podcast, The Bloom Health Club, in the WFLA Now Streaming Center to continue this incredible conversation. You can stream the full episode anytime on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. We will be back with more Bloom right after this. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. We're back in the Bloom Kitchen with our friend, longevity and registered dietitian and the author of Cooking for High Performers, Ella DeVar, who is here whipping up some macro-friendly pancakes. I'm like, pancakes? Dietitian, is it true?
It is, and I'm so excited for you to try this simple recipe. Most of us, when it comes to healthy eating, what do we think about? Hard-boiled eggs or oatmeal? So this is basically it, but in a pancake form. It's 3 simple ingredients, and they're so easy because we'll be blending them using a high-speed blender. So there's really not much cooking and messing around involved. And what's awesome about these pancakes that you could use them as part of your meal prep. You could freeze them and use them later on.
Nice.
So we'll begin with the high-speed blender, and we're putting all of the ingredients there. 1 cup of rolled oats. I like to use old-fashioned because they're higher in fiber and nutrients. Then we'll be using a couple of bananas. And I love using the browner ones because the browner they are, the higher the sweetness. And this is the only source of sugar and sweetness that we're adding there. These pancakes are basically flourless and sugarless.
Okay.
They're sweetened with natural fruit. And then we're adding a little bit of liquid, and sometimes I use coconut milk or regular milk, but for these we'll make them fitness approved and low calorie, so we'll be using water.
All right.
And then for protein and fats, we'll be adding a couple of eggs.
All right.
How often do you make pancakes for your children?
I make pancakes about once a week, and I do a gluten-free variety.
So oats are naturally gluten-free, and when you use them in the old-fashioned way like this, it really helps to just create diversity of different options for breakfast. So let's quickly blend it.
All right.
So do you know how to use this?
No.
We put the lid up and turn it on. There it is. So it doesn't take much, only 20 to 30 seconds. There it is. And there it is.
Okay.
So here's the thing with this recipe. If the batter is a little too thin, you just add a little extra oats.
Okay.
If it's too thick, add a little bit of more almond milk or coconut milk, whatever you're using.
Okay. But
And
you think
then-
these are okay?
I think this is awesome.
Okay.
So let's start with using a cast iron pan and using a little bit of coconut oil or olive oil, whatever you prefer.
Okay.
But I love using coconut oil because it has the higher smoke point. So make them, oh my God, look how beautiful. Make them smaller, like smaller to medium, because what I find is like easier to handle. And also kids prefer a smaller version of it. Okay, look at that.
That one's really extra
And
small.
then you can always add some toppings. I personally love to use blueberries or walnuts. Pecans taste really good with this. And this is it. Also, another thing that we forgot to use, the cinnamon. Any flavor enhancer that you love. Some people like to use chai spices to make them really authentically flavored. They all work great. So a couple of minutes, no more than that, and then you flip them. As soon as you see these bubbles on the top, that's where the first sign is that you need to be flipping them. And this is pretty much it. These are gluten-free, flour and sugar-free pancakes, and I want you to try one.
Okay, I will try one.
I made them this morning, and voila, I turn it on a little bit early. So it's basically a cup of delicious oatmeal in the pancake form, but with high protein due to the eggs, as well as the bananas. So basically no sugar added, which I love about these pancakes.
These are actually really good, and I'm eating them, it's ice cold, and I still think they're really good. And they don't taste that different than the gluten-free mixed ones.
Yes, and
this you can control the ingredients.
Exactly, and they're so easy to make. For those people who don't have a blender, you can use oat flour.
Okay.
But this is basically what we created using a blender. We blended the oats and made an oat flour, and bananas used it natural because, like I said, the browner they are sweet enough. Yes, you could serve it with a little bit of honey if you have a sweet tooth kind of kids in the house, so that works. My favorite sweetener is definitely honey, but I don't recommend adding it to the batter. I recommend serving it with. But blueberries and Greek yogurt, they also add a little bit of extra nutrition, and kids love it as well as adults.
And this is the one, you made these actually with the coconut milk?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's really, really good. I mean...
You could use almond milk or coconut milk.
Okay, really good to know. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna share this recipe on bloomtampabay.com, and Ella is sticking around for an extended conversation with the creator of JackFit, who helps women become the best versions of themselves. But first, it's time for today's Bloom trivia question. True or false? Bananas are the most popular fruit in the world. We'll have the answer later on Bloom. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. We are back with the creator of JackFit, fitness expert and transformation specialist Jack Cordero, and longevity and registered dietitian Ella DeVar for an extended conversation to answer your viewer questions. Thank you both for sticking around.
Thank you for having us.
So good to be here.
So Jack, we'll start with you. You actually pivoted from sick care to health care. What made you leave the nursing profession to coach and help people prevent disease?
Great question. How much time do you have? So no, COVID happened, lockdown, and like many others, you're presented with, you know what, maybe this is not what I'm meant to do. Nurturing and caring for patients, yes, 100%. That was, was always something that I've been very invested in. But my passion for nursing was dwindling, and I could feel the spark kind of just diluting and diluting and diluting. And when I feel like that, and when things aren't feeding my soul, I make the pivot, and this is probably the best thing I've ever done, because it's the clinical nursing experience with my passion of fitness, and it really just is now fulfilling and serving my cup right to the top.
Good for you. That's awesome. All right, our next viewer question is for you, Ella. It says you're doing the very same thing with a focus on disease prevention. Why?
Well, my grandmother died from diabetes, and next thing I know, I find myself on Wall Street leading a very stressful lifestyle, unable to lose weight, skin issues, and stress was really catching up on me. And surely, slowly but surely, I was expecting and talking to other experts. Somebody help me. And there's a dietitian that changed my life by changing my relationship with food. I stopped looking at food as my enemy, something that makes me sick, but instead I started looking at food as my medicine. And fast forward 12 years now, I'm the person who changes people's lives by changing what's on their plate. And I am that dietitian, and that's really what drives me, because I know what it feels like not feeling your best.
All right, that's a good one. All right, Jack, we're going to go back to you. The next question is, you are helping women commit to exercise and training. Can you share some of the myths around strength training?
Absolutely. Ladies, you will not get bulky. You won't look like a man. You won't turn into a man if you strength train. Honest to goodness. I hear that over and over again. Clients, Jack, if I start training, if I lift heavier, I'm going to get big. No, that is all diet related. How you appear is what you put in your mouth. Functional food first, weight training second, get to know your body. You're always going to be your best assessor. So slowly, surely get into it. Make sure your form's correct, and then slowly add the weight. You will see a tighter, more toned looking physique, 100%. So completely false.
Okay, that's a good one. All right, Ella, next viewer question for you. What are your top recommendations for nutrition for disease prevention?
Yeah, nutrition, when it comes to nutrition, it's essential. You are what you eat, after all, and it's true. There's a lot of processes that go on inside our body, but everything we put in our mouth really builds our tissue, builds our organ and our cells. So my top recommendation for women is to make sure that every time you look at your plate, you look for protein on your plate and fiber. Fiber helps you to detoxify naturally on a daily basis. It helps to improve your gut microbiome and therefore improves your mental health. And protein keeps you satiated longer, and it keeps you strong. It contributes to muscle function as well as our heart function, and it also improves our hormone levels. I call those meals hormone balancing because they don't spike your insulin, and therefore they lead to weight loss or weight management and keep you happy and glowing.
All right, I love it. All right, Jack, our next viewer question is for you. Tips for healthy lifestyle, changes for disease prevention, and preparation consistency. How does discipline and vulnerable play a role in all of this?
100%. You need to find the recipe for success. And in my program, it's consistency, it's discipline, and it's hard work. You have to put the work in, especially as we age. Our bodies are aging, so we have to really give extra love to those areas that we are, depleting over time. So getting up and putting the effort in that self-care deposit, as I like to say, is really important. Doing that every morning not only will allow you to reach your physical goals, but mentally you will heighten your sense of confidence, your ambition. You will see the world in a better, more beautiful lens of glasses, rosy glasses, as I would say. These things that you do, nutrition for functionality, not for emotion. So we eat for functionality, not for emotion. That's a huge thing. And then you start to look at yourself as a project, as opposed to, commenting, making those, silent kind of comments to yourself that are not so polite and so nice and kind. Mm-hmm. You really just have to take a step back and go, okay, is this working towards my goal? If it's not, what can I do to change that? And just really taking the time to listen to yourself and build that intimate relationship with yourself.
All right. Now, real quick, because a lot of people might be wondering, is your program a virtual program? How does it work?
So essentially there's 4 phases and they're 6 weeks long. So they're transformation challenge, they're 6 weeks. So anyone can sign up and you start from phase 1, which is basically layering the foundation of your mental status and how you see yourself and how you see the world. Then we try to make small changes, tweaks, and pivots just so that you're able to stay in more of a positive space. Then we really focus on the physical part of it. Okay, then when there's the strength training, all the things. So what you do is, when you sign up, you get a meal program and a training program, and then you have 10-minute virtual check-ins with either myself or my other coaches.
Cool.
So that's where we go over the progress, maybe places where you're like, I should have did that better, but it's not a space for judgment, it's a space for encouragement, and then just really like, how do we make this better?
I love it.
And these conversations can go from tears to happiness to a high five, or just like like you're talking to your girlfriend. So it's really a nice way to be able to put the trust and feel space when you're very vulnerable, and really make a change and difference. And these are, I think, out of all of the components of the program, the virtual check-ins are by far the best. Yes.
I would agree with
All
most
right.
impactful.
Yeah.
Support
All right.
is essential for long-term
Yes.
sustainable success.
Well, ladies, thank you both so much for being here. We always see Ella, but we hope you come back too. You're a
I would love
dynamic
to
duo.
come back. Yes, absolutely.
All right, we're going to share this on bloomtampabay.com, and we're not done with Jack just yet. She's putting me through a Jack Fit approved workout when Bloom returns. We are back with fitness expert and transformation specialist Jack Cordero, who helps women become the best versions of themselves. Jack, thanks so much for sticking around.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure. My favorite part.
I know. I'm like, I have to work out with this lady. So you actually host a boot camp experience.
Yes.
And this is all part of your 6-week challenge.
Yes, that's correct. So we kind of walk through the whole mind, body, and soul concept of Jack Fit program. So we start off with this very rigorous kind of like hour of just like sweaty, kind of full body movement, just doing the thing. Then we go into nutrition, to showcase and mirror what you're trying to achieve physically. And then we end up on a mental note of like meditation, kind of a self-care workshop. It's really nice.
And this is all about knowing that you don't necessarily have to go to an expensive gym to stay in shape.
Absolutely. You can find motivation anywhere, just like you can find a place to work out anywhere. So you can do this in the comfort of your own home. There's no equipment necessary. You're checking the ego at the door. And really what we're trying to really harness here is the concept of mind to muscle connection.
Okay, I love it. All right, so Jack's going to take me through some exercises that you can follow along with at home. We're going to post this for you online so you can play it again and again. And these are simple ways of using your own body as resistance.
Own body weight. Generally speaking, you'll do it for about a minute straight. Get a timer. Once you hear that timer go off, stop your exercise, get a glass of water, and then move on to the next one for a minute, and so on.
Okay, all right, so we're going to start off with some jump squats. And you say there are 2 different versions of them because then that works different parts of your body.
Yeah, so you want to just make sure you're hitting all the aspects of your quads because they're such a beautiful muscle and they can really give a nice shape to those legs in that lower half, right? So you're going out wide. When you jump up, you're going to feel the outside.
Okay.
If you're coming more inward, more like hip distance, and you come down, you jump, you're going to feel it on the inside of your quad.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So we'll start with a couple on the outside.
All right.
All right, and up. Good. Now we'll switch to narrow.
And you say don't lean forward.
Don't lean forward, keep your chest up, and use your breath to sync with your movement. Again, ask yourself, what muscle are you using?
And you really feel it.
You really feel it,
In
yeah.
2 different areas. All right, so the next one is push-ups.
Yes. So military style, I always say, get the form correct. Ask yourself, how do you feel during it? If you feel a pinch or you're not quite sure how you feel, it's probably because your form or your posture isn't where it should be.
Okay.
So when you're doing military or push-up, for example, make sure your whole palm is faced down into the mat, full contact. Lead with your arms, keep your core engaged, keep everything straight, and keep that butt down. Don't do that whole the triangle look, right?
Okay, and you say start the hard ones, and then you can always back it down.
Absolutely. You can always go to your knees if you find it too challenging, but don't stop, okay?
All right.
And let's go. Perfect. You didn't need to go.
And then you can always
And then you can modify, right? Now just remember, what am I trying to work? Focus.
Because we just did a whole thing about the studies that support mind to muscle connection.
Yes, huge. Yeah.
All right, the next one is bicycle sync.
Yeah, so bicycles. So now this is more core, right? So we just worked to upper, lower, bottom, and now we're gonna focus on the rectus, right?
Okay.
The core. So basically, your bicycle, like anything, you're just pedaling, right? And then if you want to, rotate. Opposite knee, opposite elbow. Use your breath, don't hold your breath. That's a huge thing. Make sure you get that blood flow, okay? And then you can do that for a minute straight. If you need to modify, again, lay back down, okay? And you can modify.
Okay.
Just like that.
I love it.
Modifications, right?
Something for beginners and
Something for advanced,
yeah,
yes.
exactly. Next one is the dips.
Yes. So at home, if you have a step, it suffice. If you have something like a stool, like this, an ottoman, whatever have you, it works.
Okay.
The main thing about tricep dips, because that's what we're trying to target, is you want to make sure that you're not overextending so you feel it in your shoulders.
Okay.
So make sure your bum is close to the seat.
Okay.
Okay. So you start off position. I always say get your position right.
Okay.
Chest up, look forward. And then for a beginner would be keeping your feet kind of close to you, right?
Okay.
So as you go down, press up, feel your tricep. Connect mind to muscle. There, good.
I love it.
Now, if you want to advance, you can put a plate on your lap.
Okay.
Or what you can do is you can cross your legs, fully extend, and come down.
Oh, it does make a big
Right?
difference.
1, 2, good. Use your breath, don't hold your breath.
You're right, you keep catching me.
And there you have it, there's your tricep dips.
All right, I love it. Next one is mountain climbers.
Yes. So mountain climbers, again, it's a little bit more rigorous. Takes a little bit more wind for your lungs to kind of get through the motion. Again, a minute can be long. So if you can't make it for a full minute, take a break, stop, get your breath, and then finish it off, right?
Because you're building up stamina all along the way.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So you build up, right? So you're gonna come down like you would in a plank position, okay? Get yourself square to the floor. Now what you're going to do is you're going to lift knee to elbow, right?
Okay.
So it's almost like you're running on a spot. Now, beginners can do it like this. Advanced, you can pick up the speed a bit and challenge yourself. There you go. I knew you were gonna do that, right? And then once that timer goes off, you stop.
All right.
Collect yourself, breathe, and there you have it.
That was a great workout, everybody. We're going to share this with you on BloomTampaBay.com. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We begin where your checkup ends. Call now, 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.
The following portion of Bloom is sponsored by Advent Health Medical Group.
Welcome back to Bloom. There is incredible state-of-the-art technology and procedures available in neurosurgery right here in the Tampa Bay area. Joining me now with more on the Advent Health Neuroscience Institute is neurological surgeon Dr. Raul Oliveira. Welcome, doctor. It's such a pleasure to have you on Bloom.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to be here.
So talk to me a little bit about yourself and how you got into this field.
Well, I think that it's the first thing is very interesting, and the second thing, it makes a difference. Since I was a little kid, I knew I was going to be a man of science. I wanted to be a nuclear physicist back in my native Cuba, but obviously there's not much nuclear stuff going on there. So I decided to follow in the footsteps of my dad, who was a surgeon too, and became a doctor. But the moment I went to med school, I knew the brain was my thing. The brain was so fascinating, it was so intriguing and so complicated that I was just destined to be a neurosurgeon.
And a lot of people are so interested in brain health right now. And I know Advent Health is bringing state-of-the-art treatment protocols. So what are some of the conditions that you typically treat as a neurosurgeon?
And at this moment, the way we are expanding our brain surgery and procedures in Advent Health, everything related to the skull-base tumors, skull-base lesions, everything related to the cerebrovascular tree, all the blood vessels, aneurysms, AVMs, all the tumors of the brain and the skull in general. So any condition that happens within the skull and the brain will be able to treat it.
And the state-of-the-art technology that you have access to must be a game changer when it comes to helping patients.
Yeah, there is much to say about technology. We're very, very reliant and not dependent, but really hopeful that with this technology we can expand the realm of what we do. New aspect of robotic technology into brain surgery is really a very broad field that is opening on our eyes. We're trying to do surgeries with the least invasive procedures possible, trying to open small little corridors to get to areas of the brain that otherwise you will need very long and damaging surgeries to get to. So robotics is helping us doing that.
Yeah, this is so fascinating. So what type of neurological symptoms should a patient be aware of, and why?
Well, more than anything, any change that you did not expect, anything that is abnormal. You start getting confused and you start not realizing where you are or recognizing your family members. You're losing vision, you're losing the ability to speak or understand what other people are saying. You're losing the ability to move one arm or one leg. Anything that is what we call focal, meaning that is portion of your body is not working the way it should, then you should call for help.
And you also help patients with preventative care.
Absolutely. You know, the brain, it's like a big machine that being only like 5% of the body weight gets all like 20 to 25% of all the blood flow that goes through the body. It requires a lot of energy, it requires a lot of nutrients, so it's in very, very much tune with the rest of the body. Whatever is in your blood, whatever is happening to your body, the brain feels it and the brain reacts to it. So good health, exercise, eating healthy, having a good life-work balance, having good sleep, all those things not only are good for your body, but it's also good for your brain.
Dr. Olivero, we're so lucky to have you here in Tampa Bay. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with our Bloom viewers.
It is my pleasure and my privilege.
And remember, preventative care starts with you. Visit flneuroexperts.com for more information about the Advent Health Neuroscience Institute. And we're so excited to have Advent Health participating in our Bloom Health Expo Saturday, July 13th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. inside the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Advent Health Training Center. We hope to see you there. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this.
The preceding portion of Bloom was sponsored by Advent Health Medical Group.
More and more women are choosing to have their implants removed, and our next guest is sharing her journey to explant surgery and recovery. Joining me now is fitness and fashion influencer Hope Howard. Hope, it's so great to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Well, I know that you've been sharing your story a lot on social media. I've followed you and I've seen a lot of your posts. What made you decide to do this?
Well, I personally was suffering from breast implant illness, and for those that aren't familiar with breast implant illness, it is a condition that causes autoimmune symptoms, connective tissue disorders, as well as a rare type of lymphoma.
Okay, yeah, we've touched on this from time to time on Bloom, but we're trying to make this more of a topic of conversation, and I actually wanted to read part of a post that garnered tens of thousands of views that you posted on your Instagram account. It reads in part, "A lot of you guys have been asking me how I've been dealing with my new body after my explant surgery." And then it goes on to read, "So I was left with the real me, which is at times a hard pill to swallow." Now, you know, we look at that picture, we see your incredible beauty. And how was that? Because I think a lot of women think about doing this, but they wonder, like, what's the after journey like?
Exactly. Well, from personal experience, I started out on my journey through social media with my breast implants. And obviously what I do is very image-based. Mm-hmm. So when it came time to make the decision to take them out, I was very concerned, how is it going to affect my image? How is that going to impact, you know, collaborations in the future, and so on and so forth. But it literally felt like I was dying. My day-to-day life was greatly hindered. Being able to take care of my daughter at the time, I was struggling with that. I had a host of other health issues. So I had to remove my implants. I did. And as soon as I removed them, within days, my health started to drastically turn around. So.
And this is something where you really need to do your research as to what kind of physician you're going to remove the implants. 'Cause
Exactly.
not just anybody can remove implants
No.
and restore you back to feeling like your old self again.
Exactly. So the type of procedure that I got is called an en bloc excision. So they removed not only the implant itself, but the capsule, the scar tissue surrounding it, and they were able to still give me a nice natural look afterwards as well. So because that's still very important as a woman. I mean, we still want to feel feminine and enjoy our bodies too, you know.
Yeah, and so how was the psychological hurdle of getting through this? I mean, how do you feel now? Because I've talked to women that I'm close friends with that have had this done, and they did say there's a bit of a tug of war mentally with when they look in the mirror. How do you feel?
I initially went through that, but ultimately my health is what matters the most. And I also have children and I have a husband. And at the end of the day, I want to feel healthy. I want to be healthy. I want to look good as well, but my internal health is what matters the most.
And what were some of the symptoms that you were experiencing?
Right, so I was having severe hair loss, I had severe back acne, body odor, hormonal imbalances, fatigue, I had joint pain, muscle soreness. It just felt like no matter what I did, I couldn't recover. And I mean, I've been in the health and wellness industry for years. I mean, I work out 5 times a week, I eat all the things you're supposed to eat. And I also went and got a blood panel done as well. I had an elevated white blood cell count, and I had a positive anti-dsDNA reading, which is commonly found with people that have lupus. So I don't have lupus. Obviously, they did more testing and were able to rule out that, but that's what's so scary about what was happening to me, is that there were actual blood tests performed saying that my immune system was trying to fight something and it couldn't fight it.
This is incredible. So at the end of the day, I mean, and I think a lot of women out there watching, if you're dealing with breast implant, issues, definitely consider this, because the outcome, I mean, was the recovery long?
No, the recovery, well, I wasn't able to lift anything heavy or pick up my daughter for 6 weeks.
Okay.
But I mean, my health just started drastically improving. I saw a lot of women, they took pictures of their face before and just a few days after getting their procedure, and all of their inflammation disappeared in their face, and that's the same exact thing that happened for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
All
so.
right. I'm so glad you shared this story. I know it took a lot of courage, but we really appreciate your messaging. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. And we're going to share Hope's journey on BloomTampaBay.com. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this. Welcome back. There is an organization working toward a vision of building strength, stability, and self-reliance in partnership with families in need of decent and affordable housing. And the Habitat for Humanity of Pinellas and West Pasco County has reached a huge milestone. Joining me now with more is the president and CEO of Habitat for Humanity of Pinellas and West Pasco County, Mike Sutton, and Xavier Jones, the recipient of Habitat's 900th home. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having me.
So this is a huge milestone, 900 homes. I know that you took over not that long ago, and there's been a huge surge in building affordable homes for folks.
Sure. Yeah, I've been there over 10 years now, but when I started with the organization, affordable housing looked a lot different than it does today. People are being priced out of our community on a regular basis. And so Habitat's one of those solutions to help families anchor into our community.
And Xavier, what was the experience like for you to be a part of building and creating the new home that you're living in?
Oh, it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling just to be a part of it, and just to be there to see it all go down and just be there to witness it. It's great.
Yeah, and it is something that I think a lot of people, if they're not familiar with Habitat for Humanity, which of course we've supported for decades here at WFLA, it's such an incredible program. But this isn't just a hand out, it's a hand up. And the people who receive these homes really put a lot into it, including sweat equity, to make it happen.
Yeah, all of our families go through 36 homebuyer education classes. Those classes are really designed to help them be self-sufficient when they move into the home. But in addition to that, they're also completing 350 to 450 sweat equity hours. So Xavier, as well as other families in our program, are out on our work sites on a regular basis, swinging a hammer and getting to know our volunteers.
That's incredible. And you have 3 kids, right?
Yes,
You're a
ma'am.
single dad.
Yes.
Talk to me about just what it's like to have your home now and have them in it with you.
It's a great feeling. I can't wait, honestly. It's just gonna be so special to me, and I ain't gonna never forget the process I took to go through this. I ain't gonna forget it.
And this home's going to mean so much to you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, because I think that the way the program is set up is why it's been so successful over the years. What have you done in a leadership role to bring the number of homes up so exponentially? Because it really is incredible what you've done.
I think at Habitat, it's all about the public-private partnerships that we've been able to create. So at Habitat, if someone's willing to work with us, we find a way to collaborate and bring affordable housing to families like Xavier and others. And so really at our organization, we've continued to find ways to get deeper and wider in the community, engaging businesses and corporations, civic organizations, anyone who wants to come out and help our organization. And obviously affordable housing there's such a need right now. People are leaving our community at record paces, and we got to figure out a way to keep families and keep individuals here in our community.
Yeah, we really do. It's become a big issue all across the Tampa Bay area, and as we continue to explode as a state, it's pushing people that have been here that deserve homes out. So any final words? I mean, who's going to help you decorate the place?
I'm definitely gonna need some help because I'm not a shopper, so I'm definitely gonna have help.
Okay, all right, we're going to have to put that call out there. We just put that out in the universe. It was a pleasure to have you both, and we're going to put everything you need to know, including if you want to volunteer or support Habitat for Humanity's mission, on bloomtampabay.com. We'll be right back with more Bloom after this. It's time for today's Bloom trivia question. True or false? Bananas are the most popular fruit in the world. The answer is true. Bananas are considered the world's most popular fruit, accounting for about 75% of the tropical fruit trade. Great for heart health and a healthy source of fiber, potassium, vitamins, and antioxidants. More than 100 billion bananas are eaten annually. Well, we hope you'll tune in again on the next Bloom presented by Lifeguard Imaging. The Today Show's nutrition, health, and lifestyle expert, Joy Bauer, is sharing a delicious summer salad recipe out of the pages of her latest feature in Naturally Danny Co. And drag queen Brianna Summers and our friend Daytime Spare and Hip are helping you celebrate Pride Month. So stay healthy, everyone, and I will see you on the next Bloom.
Content segments during Bloom were paid for by Advent Health Medical Group.
Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.